Hi, everyone. It is so nice to see you again and to be here with you again. I am Coach Joy Rozelle, and I am from Active Potential, and we've been running this summer series of Lemonade throughout the summer. And this is our second to last episode for this series. So you can always go back on Facebook and rewatch. I think most of them are posted to YouTube. Go check up on it. Go look through them. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe as you're viewing them if you like them. If you have any questions, you can always reach out. So I hope that you are thoroughly enjoying your summer as it's about to come to an end with the kids. So for some of us, Single Mom's Life. So I just want to do a little plug for Single Mom Life group coaching. We have a group going through now. It starts every month. You can register for each month.
So if you want to join us for August, registration is open right now. And what this is about identifying your individual goals and working on the things you need to work on as an individual, as a mom, and also bringing the collective together to create a sisterhood of support and purpose and uplifting each other. It's such a magnificent energy. So we've had our individual sessions, our group session for July will occur next week. We're enrolling for September. So go ahead and get on the list. It's just $35. You get an individual coaching session and you get to take part of our Village Circle, which is our group coaching session. And I'm so excited about that. So get registered. Visit us at active-potential.com/single-mom-life. All right. And also just message me if you have details. We can do a meet and greet. If you have questions, I can give you more details. You can do a meet and greet, or if you just have questions about coaching in general. All right. So thank you for joining us. We've gone through clarifying what you want, what is holding you back, and today we're working on creating a plan that you feel passionate about. Hi, Rochelle. Thanks for joining us. All right, so why does this say gather the ingredients? I don't know. It should say mix and stir. So as usual, grab your pen and your paper. We only have 30 minutes or probably 25 now to get done with this, to go through it. If you have questions, make sure you put them in the chat and I'll be keeping an eye on that as we go along. Remember to silence your distracting thoughts, other people's opinions, everyday demands, and just any noise that's going on around you that's distracting. This is supposed to be a safe space for your self-exploration. So there's no judgment, no criticism or guilt. We are just looking at where we are and moving forward, not focused on the past at all. All right, so where are we? We talked about your recipe. We talked about those lemons, and then we talked about the ingredients. Today, we're at mix and stir. So what actions will you take to move forward? You know what you need, you know what you have, you know what your values are, what your vision is, so that you can move forward in a way that feels complete and whole. And so now we're mixing and stirring. We're like, what are we gonna do? Are we mixing fast? Are we slowly mixing? So let's get to it. We're putting all of our ingredients together and we're creating our plan. So we're going to revisit this. What is your goal? And I like to use the SMART goal format. You've probably seen this before. I may have put a spin on it. There's different versions. So be specific about what you want. Measure. How will you measure your success? Action plan. What will you do to move forward? That's our focus today. Resources. What do I have? What do I need? We already went through that. And then time, we'll go through that at the very end because that's a little bit self-explanatory. All right, so what's your action plan? So today we're talking about taking and creating that plan so that we can move to action. So we're taking that plan and we're moving to action. We have to create a plan that is realistic for us. And so by realistic, I don't mean judging it on our limitations, but one that works for us. Here's an example. I'll use me as always. If I say, well, I've gained 10 pounds of COVID weight. Anybody else with me, or am I alone? So I've gained 10 pounds of COVID weight. I can look online and find diets that may work for other people. So I am going to get on this strict keto diet, which I heard works wonders. I am not a nutritionist, so I can't give you advice on that, but I'm going to get on the strict keto diet and I'm going to do it for 3 months. And this is my plan. Okay, so I spent time researching and creating this plan, but this plan doesn't work for me because my favorite food is bread. And so if I remove all of the bread, I'm either going to be cranky or I'm going to give up really fast. My keto diet will probably end within 2 days. I would give it 2 days. I have a little bit of self-discipline. So you want your plan to fit you. You want to have things in your plan, and we'll talk about this next time, that reinforce what you're going for. So it helps you stay on track. We don't need to beat up on ourselves, because I don't need to beat up on myself because I love bread. I just love bread, and I'm getting old. So, I mean, I could change, but I could say, instead of me doing a strict keto diet, maybe I take a different approach. And so I'm really big on taking approaches that work for you and not things that seem to work really well for other people, but don't fit into our lifestyle or our personality. All right. So let's look at this. As you start crafting your plan for your goal, you want to make sure you are thinking about those values, that vision, and those resources. You want to make sure that those things are incorporated into your plan, because you could have a goal, but if your plan doesn't speak to your values, I could have a goal of getting out of debt. If my plan is to scheme people on Facebook to get money, which I see a lot of those, then that doesn't align with my value of honesty, right, and integrity. So that's not going to feel good to me. So I need to make sure that my goal, my plan for my goal, aligns with my values. If my goal is to find a job that makes more money, and I value creativity, if I go find a job that is analytical in nature and does not feed that value of being creative and coming up with new things and innovative, then again, I'm going to feel like I have a basket full of rotten lemons, because that is not going to fit what I personally need. It may work for other people, but we are all unique individuals. So let me know if that makes sense. But I want to make sure we kind of stop right there, because that's a big one. You'll see it a lot where people have goals and they're like, well, this person is making a ton of money online selling cakes. Do you really like baking? Like, do you want to be in the kitchen all day? Yeah, you might could make some money, but if you don't enjoy it, then we're back at square one. And you may not even make money, because if you don't enjoy it, you may not be doing your best work. So, and then your vision, make sure your goals align with your vision, and make sure you understand what resources you have and what resources you need in a way that is not looking down on yourself or looking down on your situation. Is looking at it from, this is the reality and this is what I can do about it. So we talked a lot about that before. All right, let's keep going. So this process that I'm going to show you is just one I use. You may have different ways of creating a plan. It just helps me. So you have your SMART goal, and what I like to do is break my goals up into phases, steps, and timelines. Sometimes I can get overwhelmed. I don't know if that's you, get overwhelmed with a big project, right? So one of my things is I wanted to open my own coaching business because of the needs I saw in my community and at work, right, as a professional. So for me, it's easier to break things down into phases, steps, and then assign my timelines, because when we look at the whole picture, it can often be overwhelming. It's like, how am I going to get all this done? I have the limited resource of time. I have the limited resource of money. What am I going to do? But if we can break it down into phases, and you'll see the phases on the next page, it can seem a little bit more easy to accomplish. So you can say, oh, I got through phase 1, awesome. I got through phase 2, awesome. So you can see that notable process when we're looking at 100 steps and we have 1 out of 100 versus 1 phase out of 5 phases. It is just more digestible. So the big phases, those steps within those phases, And then we'll add on our timelines. All right. And we have a comment. Yes, I get overwhelmed when I'm doing too much. I have to break it down. Yes. So breaking it down into manageable chunks. Let's keep going. All right. So what's your goal? Just start with one. Do you have one in mind? I'm going to have an example on the next page, but think about it. I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, awesome. So have your goal in mind as we go through the next couple of steps. And slow me down if needed. All right, so we use this one throughout the lesson. I want to improve my financial stability by paying off all credit card debt. Our measure is a balance of $0 on all credit cards. Resources, I have a full-time job, a savings account, creative skills, I need a side hustle or a part-time job, and to reduce expenses. So just with your SMART goal, you can start working, right? You already have something you can work on. But let's go into more detail. All right, so here are the phases I have. You can relabel these, create your own phases. It's not gonna apply to everything. If you're starting a business, it may be different phases, just depends on your goal. So I just broke it down into simple, getting started, doing the work, final touches. So what do you need to get started, right? So what is that work? And sometimes that's the hardest stuff to get through is let's just start from ground zero. What do I need just to get started? Doing the work, how will you really get rolling? So you got all the stuff you need to get started, but now we're gonna pick up pace. We're gonna actually start doing a lot of the work. And then final touches. So how will you maintain that momentum and how will you keep things going? All right, so those are just the 3 phases that I've outlined for this example. All right, so these are the steps. So for phase 1, I put the steps as research job opportunities, create a budget and savings goal, research passive streams of income. So that's just the work I need to do in the beginning to get started. So if I want a new job, I need to research the job opportunities. I actually need to determine what type of side job I want, right? So being a single mom, my schedule may not fit some of the normal second jobs or after hour jobs. So I may have to say, well, I'm gonna look specifically at work from home opportunities for extra income, passive streams of income. I'm gonna write a book. What am I gonna do to get those passive streams of income going? So just researching and brainstorming, getting started, creating, starting that workflow. All right, next, phase 2. I'm gonna apply and obtain a second stream of income. So I'm gonna apply to a job. For me, let's say it's a work from home job. I'm gonna apply for a job and I'm gonna obtain a job. So this is the time I want to apply for a job. I want to attain a job. I'm gonna double up my credit card payment. So I'm no longer gonna pay that minimum balance. I'm gonna double up so I can cut down on my interest and I can speed up my progress. I'm gonna cut back on wasteful spending. So for me, it may be hamburgers, crab and lobster. But cutting back on some of the wasteful spending could be clothes, any of that stuff. Maybe you're like me, I used to buy bottles of water. Now I use the little filter. How are we gonna cut back on the wasteful spending? And then doing the work, I'm going to review my budget on an ongoing basis. All right, so I'm gonna keep my budget handy and I'm gonna review it. So when I look at the final touches, I'm gonna identify some accountability partners. So I have this budget, I have my second job. I'm gonna create a support system around me to make sure I can stay on track. So if I have a second job and I have a child, I may need to say, hey, sister, can you be a backup babysitter? Who's going to help me stay accountable? Maybe I have another friend who has a similar goal and we can help each other stay accountable and say, did you buy that? Did you buy those shoes? You weren't supposed to buy those shoes. Review and update your budget quarterly because your financial situation could change. So you may want to look and say, well, instead of doubling up, I'm going to go 2.5 times more. Final touches, right? So how am I going to keep that momentum? Rewarding yourself. So if you come in under budget, maybe you're saying, I get a treat if I come in under budget. But these are the things that are going to help you keep going. All right. So this is what's going to keep you going until you get to the end of the goal, because again, it can get overwhelming and we need these things in place. They seem simple, but we definitely need them in place. So something interesting I saw that I'll share with you guys is in one of the Facebook groups I'm in, I asked the question like, who is your support system? And I would say 85 to 90% of the people who answered, rough estimate, I did not count, said that their support system was themselves or God. I have nothing against God. I have nothing against yourself. But when your brain starts saying, this isn't working, I'm tired, you really need to surround yourself with people who are willing to support you in your ambitions. So it's great to realize that everyone's not going to be there for you. I think we may have talked about that, but you always want to have someone around you. And it may seem like, well, everyone I've tried to have around me has kind of let me down, or they didn't encourage me, or whatever that situation may be. We need to reevaluate how we are determining who we're hanging around and where we're getting those people from. Because it doesn't have to be family, right? But it is so positive to have positive people around you and have people who are trying to go where you're going, or someone to support you. So whether it's a coach like me, a mentor, a friend, a family member, or maybe you meet them at some networking event, please, 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 I beg you, have some human support system that can literally talk to you so that you can continue on your goal. You may be heck of self-determined, and that is great. That is great. But we all need that human relation. So just make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. All right, so those were the final touches. Any questions when it comes to this part? Drop it in the chat. All right, time always flies. We have 10 minutes. I don't even know if we'll use the 10 minutes, but let's keep going. All right, so you have your phases, you have your steps, and now we're going to assign our timeline. So for our timeline, on here I put August 2021 on getting started. Ooh, let's take a breath right here. Let's take a deep breath. Some of us, no judgment, no guilt, no heat, no criticism. But some of us get into analysis paralysis, and this getting started stage lasts well beyond its time or worth. So we'll research, we'll watch YouTube videos, we'll read blogs, we'll do all of the stuff. We'll go to support groups, but we're not moving on. So the reason I break out this getting started, because it needs a concrete end date. I got all of the information I'm going to get during this month, and then I'm going to move forward. Set that end date. That end date should not be years, I can guarantee you. It should not be years. Set an end date and hold yourself accountable to that end date. All right. So always separate that kind of first stage of getting started research so that you can set a date. Because like I said, we'll start, we're researching, we're looking up. And I want to challenge you in that area as well. What is driving you to keep researching, to stay in this stage? Is it fear of failure? Is it the need for perfection? Do you even want to do whatever you're looking up? Like, please ask yourself the hard, honest truth. Am I afraid of failing? Am I having a need for perfection, an unrealistic need for perfection? Or do I even want to do this? Because why am I staying in phase 1? All right. Why am I staying in phase 1? Okay. Number 2, doing the work. So I put, because this is getting out of credit card debt, so it really depends on the amount of debt you have, September 2021. So I'm coming right out of that getting started stage, and I'm going to run it until the end of 2022 so that I can get out of this credit card debt. All right. So again, it depends on your project. And timeline for step 3, September 21. So this is the end, right? September. Oh no, it's actually the same time frame, which is fine. September 2021 to December 2022. So making sure you have those accountability partners. I add that review and update your budget quarterly so you can adjust and be flexible for what's needed, and then reward yourself along the way. Don't forget that. All right. Oh, we have another comment. I look to God for all help, and I thank God He is my help, but it would be great to have a support system, right? Yeah. So we definitely can look to God for support. That's awesome, amazing, because sometimes, let's be clear, sometimes people can let us down, or they have their own stuff going on. So, but it's great to have that support system where you can sit down and work through stuff. And let's talk about this too, is when you have that support system, they may have resources that add on to your resources. They may have knowledge that you need to have. They may have an encouraging word when you need that encouraging word. So we definitely want to have our spiritual practices because it feeds us internally and it keeps us going and motivated. But when we can add another person who has similar goals and values as us, because that's the important part. If they don't have a vision and goal and values for their own life, it's going to be really hard for them to contribute to your vision, goals, and values, right? So adding that person in to the mix can do a world of difference. All right. Okay, and so as we're going through this, I want you to remember your vision, values, and resources when you're going through your plan. What resources do you have? What resources do you need? What's your vision? What's your values? If your vision is to be debt-free before December 22nd, 2022, we need to rework this plan. All right, so we've come to the end. We did it in 30 minutes. All right, so for this week, the homework is to think about what's your goal, finalize that goal, make sure it aligns with your values and your vision, and then what's your plan? And I really want you to start on that getting started. When are you going to get started? Sometimes we delay ourselves. We delay ourselves because of fear, perfection, and sometimes we're just doing stuff we don't want to do. We have no passion. It doesn't fit. It's not a good fit for us. And we're just trying to push ourselves to do it because someone else looks really good doing it. Yeah. And it seems like someone else is being very successful doing it. So what's your plan and what's your goal? Be very specific, be very clear with yourself, be very honest and realistic, right? Honest about what you want. Is this really your goal, or is this someone else's goal that you picked up? Does this goal align with your vision? Is it sending you in the right direction? Because we are getting rid of those lemons and we are creating our lemonade. So our goal needs to be nice and sweet. All right. All right. So next time we will drink and enjoy. So tips and tricks for maintaining momentum. That will be our last one. It will be Thursday, August 5th. I know I announced dates and then it changes based on my crazy schedule, ever moving schedule. So I appreciate you guys still coming. Remember, we have hashtag single mom's life. So if you know a single mom, you can gift it $35. If you have questions about it, you can call me or email me and we can set up a call. This is just life-changing work that is just, I don't know how to even express how excited I am about it. So we're enrolling for August. Remember, guys, like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. So we can't wait to see you next time. It's been such a joy. And then we'll start a new series. If you have suggestions on what the series should be, drop it in the chat and we'll look at it. All right. I appreciate you so much. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time. And I hope you enjoy your lemonade lunch.